They thought they could push me down, laugh at me, and move on. I waited. And when the moment came, I took everything they thought they were entitled to. Now they live in fear. Quiet, cozy, nothing flashy. I'd spent the whole day in the kitchen, onions sizzling, spices blooming, the table set so that the candles would look deliberate and not desperate. I even treated myself to something new to wear, a cream blouse that caught the light in a flattering way and a deep green skirt that made me stand up a little straighter when I walked into the room. I wanted this to feel like something gentle and intentional. A little celebration for me, that's all. Sophie showed up with that teenaged air of bored entitlement, phone in hand, headphone cord tucked like armor. She'd been half present the whole meal, scrolling, tapping, smirking at things only she found funny. I barely noticed her until the glass hit me. 1 second my elbow was resting against the table and the next there was a cold splash across my chest. The punch soaked through fabric, warm sweat, and a sharp, embarrassed heat rose to my face. I looked up, and Sophie was standing there, empty cup dangling from limp fingers, looking me in the eye like she'd practiced the moment in a mirror. "Now you look as cheap as you really are," she said, loud, clear, and with that small smile that pretended it was a joke. The room folded into a weird silence. Not the shocked, "Oh my god" silence, but the one where everyone freezes, waiting to see which adult will step in and clean up the mess. I looked for that adult. I looked for Claire, for my mom. Claire kept chewing like she'd swallowed a fly. My mom shrugged and, with the kind of discounting softness that still stung, said, "Oh honey, it's just a prank. Don't make a scene." So I did what I always did when they minimized me. I smiled, I excused myself, and I wiped punch from my blouse with the professionalism of someone who'd been taught dignity as a reflex. But the smile was paper thin. The part of me that planned, that counted and waited, had already started turning over possibilities. I could have yelled. I could have flung a glass. I could have ruined the evening with a theatrical meltdown that every person in that room would have enjoyed as a form of entertainment. Instead I left the obvious performance to them. My revenge, such as it was, would be quieter. It would be precise. It would be the kind of slow, deliberate annoyance that seeps under people's skin and sits there. Later that night, after hugs that felt automatic and the polite, "Thanks for coming," I locked the door behind them and poured a glass of wine. Claire had once asked me to order something for her while she was traveling. She'd given me her card details over the phone and I'd saved them to make the checkout easier. Life had been busy and she'd never changed the card. It was still active in an account I could reach. The cancellation was almost anticlimactic. A few clicks, a typed reason, and the line of credit that made Sophie's shopping trips possible vanished. Not frozen, not paused, terminated. Small, administrative, invisible to anyone who wasn't paying attention. Step 1. Step 2 was the one that tasted sweeter in my mouth. Everyone assumed Sophie's shiny little car belonged to her. It didn't. My name was on the title. I'd bought it for her when Claire's finances were a mess, and we'd agreed she'd pay me back. She never did. I'd let it go, until tonight. I slid the keys into my bag and slept like a person who'd finally finished a long, careful piece of work. Early the next morning I made coffee and checked the driveway from my kitchen window. At 8:40, Sophie appeared, hoodie, messy bun, the kind of stride that says the world is a revolving door to her convenience. She stopped at the curb, looked left, looked right, fumbled through her bag for keys.